What the car industry doesn't want you to know is that the future of Tesla isn't being decided in boardrooms or on Twitter, and it's definitely not about Trump versus Musk. No, the real battle, the one that'll shape the next decade of driving, comes down to a single, silent, and absolutely terrifying piece of technology: the battery. And trust me, what's happening behind closed doors is way darker than anyone's admitting. Let me tell you something that'll shock you. Lately, I've been digging into the secrets behind Tesla's latest battery breakthroughs, and the more I uncover, the more I realize just how deep this rabbit hole goes. We're not talking about a simple upgrade, like swapping out your old phone for a new one. We're talking about a fundamental shift, a revolution that could change what it means to own a car, to drive, even to trust the companies that build the machines we rely on every single day. But wait, it gets even darker. See, most people think the big story is about personalities, Elon Musk's wild tweets, political drama, all that noise. But that's just a distraction. The real story is happening in secret labs, in factories where cameras aren't allowed, and in boardrooms where the stakes are measured in billions of dollars and the fate of entire industries. The battery that Tesla is betting everything on, the 4680 cell, the so-called quantum core and rumors of aluminum-ion tech, these aren't just engineering marvels, they're weapons in a war for the future of transportation, and the collateral damage could be your wallet, your safety, and maybe even your freedom on the road. By the way, if you're enjoying this kind of dark automotive deep dive, definitely stick around. I expose stuff like this pretty regularly. Because the more you know, the less likely you are to get blindsided by the next big innovation that's supposed to make your life better, but might just be another corporate trick. Now, here's where it gets really disturbing. The 4680 battery cell, Tesla's latest pride and joy, isn't just a bigger, better battery. It's a complete reinvention of how electric cars are powered. On paper, it sounds amazing. More range, faster charging, lower costs. But the truth is, nobody outside of Tesla really knows what's going on inside those cells. The company claims they're using a dry cathode process, cutting out rare earth metals and promising a 1,000-mile range.
But ask yourself, when was the last time a car company delivered on a promise like that without cutting corners somewhere else? That reminds me of something else they don't want you to know. Remember the big diesel emission scandal? Volkswagen, one of the biggest names in the game, got caught cheating on emissions tests for years. They built a system designed to fool regulators and customers alike. If a company that big, that respected, could pull off a deception like that, what makes you think Tesla or any other automaker wouldn't do the same if the stakes were high enough? But here's what most people don't realize about this dark truth. The battery isn't just about making cars go farther or charge faster. It's about control. Whoever owns the best battery owns the future of mobility. Think about it. If Tesla's new quantum core battery really does what they claim, reducing charging times by 70%, boosting range by 40%, slashing production costs by 30%, that's not just a win for Tesla, that's a death sentence for every other automaker still stuck with old technology. And when one company controls the tech that everyone else needs to survive, that's when things get really sinister. Speaking of that, let me tell you about the real reason this matters. It's not just about competition, it's about dependency. If Tesla's battery tech becomes the industry standard, every other car company will have to license it, buy it, or risk going extinct. That means less choice for you, higher prices, and a world where one company decides what's possible and what's not on the road. Makes you wonder what else they're hiding, doesn't it? Comment below what you think about this dark revelation. Do you trust Tesla to play fair if they win the battery war? Or do you think we're heading for another era of corporate monopolies, just dressed up in shiny, eco-friendly packaging? But wait, it gets even more disturbing. There are whispers, rumors really, about Tesla working on aluminum-ion batteries for the next generation of cars. If that's true, we're talking about a leap so big, it almost sounds like science fiction. Batteries with 20 times the energy density of today's lithium cells, cars that could go 2,000 miles on a single charge, and a full recharge in 15 minutes. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. No one outside Tesla has seen these batteries in action. No independent tests, no third-party verification, just bold claims and a lot of hype. Honestly, I think this is terrifying. The facts show that battery breakthroughs are possible, but honestly, I think there's something darker going on. Every time a company promises the moon, there's a risk they're hiding the real story. Maybe the new batteries aren't as safe as they claim. Maybe they're cutting corners on longevity or recycling, or sourcing materials from places you wouldn't want to think about. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that Samsung had to recall millions of phones because their batteries kept catching fire. Imagine that, but on the scale of the entire automotive industry. That just doesn't sit right with me at all. In my view, this is a massive cover-up. The focus on battery innovation is real, but the hype machine is working overtime to distract us from the risks. What happens if these new batteries fail? What if they're not as green as advertised? What if, in the rush to dominate the market, Tesla and others are willing to gamble with our safety, our environment, and our trust? A lot of folks don't talk about this dark side, but I think it's time we ask the hard questions. Is this really progress, or just another corporate deception? Are we being sold a dream, or are we walking into a nightmare, one that's been carefully engineered to look like the future? Now, this is just my dark take, but I can't help but distrust the way these companies operate. It's like when you discover your mechanic has been lying to you for years, telling you your brakes need replacing when they're fine, charging you for work that never happened, except this time the stakes are so much higher. We're not just talking about a few $100s, we're talking about the future of transportation, the environment, and maybe even our freedom to choose how we get around. Think of it like this. You know how when you're at a car dealership, everything looks shiny and perfect. The salespeople are all smiles, the cars are spotless, and the deals sound too good to be true. But behind the scenes, there's a whole world of hidden fees, tricky financing, and fine print designed to trap you. That's what the battery war feels like to me. On the surface, it's all about innovation and progress, but underneath, there's a web of secrets, half-truths, and power plays that could leave all of us paying the price. But here's what most people don't realize about this dark truth. The shift to new battery tech isn't just about making cars better. It's about making us dependent on a single company's vision of the future. If Tesla wins, they get to decide what's possible.
They get to set the rules, control the supply chain, and dictate what every other automaker has to do just to survive. That's a kind of power we haven't seen since the days of the oil barons, and it should make every car lover stop and think. Now, I know some people see it differently, and I get why they'd think that. Maybe you believe in Musk's vision, or you're excited about the promise of cleaner, faster, more efficient cars. I want to believe too, but I can't shake the feeling that we're being sold a story that's just a little too perfect, a little too convenient. When one company holds all the cards, the rest of us are just along for the ride, and we might not like where we end up. That reminds me of the 2008 auto bailout. Remember that? The government stepped in to save the big automakers, and for a while it looked like the industry was on the brink of collapse. But what really happened was a massive transfer of power from the public, from workers, from customers, to a handful of executives and shareholders. The same thing could be happening now, just with different players and a new kind of fuel. But wait, it gets even more disturbing. Tesla isn't just building new batteries. They're building their own lithium refinery in Texas, locking down the raw materials they need to stay ahead. That's vertical integration on a scale we haven't seen since the heyday of Henry Ford. And while it sounds smart from a business perspective, it also means less competition, less transparency, and more opportunities for abuse. Share this with someone who needs to know the truth, because if we don't pay attention now, we might wake up one day to find that the choices we thought we had about what we drive, how far we can go, even how much we pay, have all been quietly taken away. Here's the dark truth. The battery that will decide Tesla's future is also going to decide ours. It's not just about range or speed or even price. It's about who controls the technology that powers our lives and whether we're willing to trust them with that kind of power. I worry that in our rush to embrace the next big thing, we're forgetting the lessons of the past, about corporate greed, about unchecked ambition, about the dangers of putting too much faith in promises that sound too good to be true. Honestly, I think this is terrifying. The more I learn, the more I suspect that we're heading for a future
where the things we take for granted, like competition, choice, and even safety, are slowly eroded by companies that care more about dominance than about doing what's right.
A lot of folks don't talk about this dark side, but someone has to. So if you're still with me, subscribe for more dark automotive revelations. Like if you agree this is disturbing. And don't forget to comment below. What do you think about this battery war? Are we on the verge of a new golden age, or are we being led into a trap by companies that see us as nothing more than customers to be exploited? Makes you wonder what else they're hiding, doesn't it? What would you do if you discovered your car, your trusted companion on the road, was part of a grand experiment you never agreed to? Is this really progress, or just another corporate deception? That's the question I'll be asking every time I look under the hood. Because in the end, it's not about Trump or Musk or even Tesla. It's about power. The power to shape the future, and the power to decide who gets left behind. And that, my friends, is the darkest secret of all.